former U.S. employees of TikTok said moderators based in Beijing have the final call of whether flagged videos were approved. U.S. employees of TikTok said Beijing-based moderators were making final calls on these videos.
But, hey, TikTok is an American company. It's not controlled by the CCP. So are we talking about spying?
Well, one more thing. This was discovered by leaked audio recordings of TikTok meetings. BuzzFeed did a thing about this, but they had something called TikTok and ByteDance conducted an investigation called Project Raven. Well, this is a great way to talk about it.
Because the Raven is perched above your chamber door.
Oh, Matt, these jokes, just never more.
Okay, yeah. Good one, Chris.
Thank you. So Project Raven was about investigating journalists who were reporting negatively about ByteDance and TikTok. And the goal was to hunt down employees in TikTok who had been giving these this information to these journalists.
So they were literally using TikTok. So they were finding these journalists, users in TikTok, and then using things like location tracking.
Yes.
To try to figure out if they were ever in the same place as a ByteDance or a TikTok employee. So literally spying on and stalking journalists to see who their secret sources were.
Yes.
Yeah. So the BuzzFeed journalists, Financial Times journalists, Forbes journalists, all of whom had reported on TikTok and ByteDance previously were tracked by
American journalists.
Or British
tracked.
Journalists, or,
the same thing.
Yeah. But I think what's interesting also is that the reason these journalists had been targeted is because they had previously reported on TikTok. BuzzFeed had reported that TikTok had claimed that they were going to move all of their data to U.S. servers right after the whole thing about where the Trump administration was going to force them to divest, and they agreed to do a sale with Oracle, and then they backed out of it. But they said, oh, we're still going to hire Oracle and move all of our data onto Oracle servers. Then BuzzFeed found out that, in fact, that, even though they moved the data, quote unquote, the parent company employees, ByteDance employees in China could still access the data.
Yep.
So that was the first big scandal. And then when that stuff came out, then ByteDance and TikTok were like, we need to investigate and see who leaked this information to the press. Quick,
because
spy on the journalists.
This is why if TikTok divested or was separated out from ByteDance, it would be good for the company because then you won't have to deal with all of this.
Yeah.
And you could have confidence in it. But so keep in mind, people inside of communist China are looking at your data. So let me just read. When you sign up for TikTok and you agree to their terms of services, here's just a little list. I'm going to read it to you. A little tiny bit of the list of what you give them access to. So user data TikTok collects, device of the user, IP address, mobile carrier, time zone settings, model of the user's device system, network types, device IDs, screen resolution, operating system, app and file names and types, keystroke patterns, or rhythm. I've got good rhythm. Battery state, audio settings, connected audio devices, face prints and voice prints, media metadata, name, date of birth, phone number, email.
And obviously they were able to use some of that information to literally track people.
Yes.
We know that they can do it because they did it.
Yes, yeah. Especially like the keystroke things and your face prints.
Yeah,
and voice prints.
They can only record keystrokes that are made through the TikTok app. So if you install TikTok, but then you're using, let's say, a Chrome browser outside of TikTok, then it won't record that. But it will record it if you click on a link and then it pops up inside.
Right. But nonetheless, they can still track a lot of other things. Like if you just have the app installed, TikTok can track your location at all times if you're carrying your phone with you.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, and we spoke to somebody who said that once they get into your phone, say, it doesn't matter if you delete the app, they still have access.
Yes. Who did we interview that said that?
I can't remember off the top of my head.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, so it's a little bit scary. TikTok does have a tremendous amount of control.
I do want to talk about one more spying thing, which is that if like a former employee at ByteDance claimed that the ByteDance had used data held by the company, like that members of the Communist Party within ByteDance had used the data from TikTok to spy on Hong Kong protesters back in 2019.
Yep.
And that essentially, according to this employee, ByteDance has a super user credential, also known as a God credential, that enables a special committee of Chinese Communist Party members stationed at the company to view all data collected by ByteDance, including that of U.S. users. So this is what we were talking before about, control of ByteDance by the CCP and how all companies over a certain number of employees have to have Communist Party branches inside the companies. And sometimes it seems like, oh, what are those communist branches actually doing? And sometimes they're just doing like ideological education stuff that no one wants to go to. Like everyone has to go do a class on Marxism, Leninism with Chinese characteristics. But they can also do stuff like this.
Yes. Yeah.
So, I mean, TikTok kind of tried to, or ByteDance tried to claim that this is just a disgruntled employee. I mean, to be fair, he could have been a disgruntled employee because this was part of a wrongful termination lawsuit. But he was willing to file this in a U.S. court, which there are repercussions for
making stuff up.
Yes. So I feel like that kind of mitigates the idea that this is just some disgruntled employee who's making stuff up.
Yeah.
So ByteDance is also involved as a humongous technology company in China. It's involved in a lot of like AI research that benefits the PLA, essentially. And it works with a lot of other Chinese technology companies that are doing things like creating supercomputers and things like that. But those companies also do things like contribute to China's nuclear program. So it's just like there's the line between civil and military is purposely blurred.
Yeah.
Under the CCP. So that's another reason that ByteDance is directly answerable and controlled by the CCP.
I mean, you'd almost think U.S. sanctions should apply to companies that are working with the Chinese military. But the thing is, go ahead.
No, I mean, a lot of the companies that ByteDance works with, there are sanctions on them. Like they are blacklisted by the U.S.
Right.
Yeah.
But ByteDance working with them, it's okay for ByteDance.
I think technically they haven't proven that ByteDance itself has done direct military things.
Because there's this whole process, legal process that exists in the U.S.
Well, so they keep adding companies to the foreign entity list, right? So they could be investigating ByteDance right now, and we just don't,
That's true too, but it's also signed like the government just it's not able to do anything at once, anytime.
That's true. Yes.
So, I mean, I think big picture now we've established clearly that the Chinese Communist Party controls TikTok. TikTok is not just like Facebook or any other U.S. social media. It is a nightmare, what it is. The idea that TikTok is not a threat is wrong. The idea like that this bill is like some kind of government overreach, that is not true.
The idea that TikTok is a champion for free speech is insane.
It's absurd.
Yes. Yeah.
It's absurd.